make one more point here again, just so you all know. The vast majority of the people in this room do not know a lot about the internal activities, and if we're going to, please don't talk about gentlemen or you know, some veiled little time. If you're going to say something, we don't spend a lot of time in this organization talking about the things that maybe could be viewed in a negative manner that go on. So we would appreciate, if you're going to say it, say it. So if we can, so that the 20 some odd people in this room who don't have any idea what you're talking about has an idea. I mean, you were talking about the Republican Assembly, a very conservative organization. You know, don't say some people have been left out. If you mean it's, you know, a very conservative group of people, and then say it so they understand what you're talking about. They don't know it if you bring these veiled words. Okay? And Dan, I would love to hear your reply and their question.
We're actually, the race that we're talking about is the 59th House Representative seat, and it was the Dan Chagru was in fact in part recruited by me 2 years ago to run against Kathy Rigg. Kathy Rigg chose not to run this time, and actually HRO came up, and since they're the ones that are really going to be putting money into the campaign, they thought that running against Carol Senti would be better matched if it didn't really match well with Dan Chagru's background. They thought that they would like to find a woman. They said they wanted a woman out of Buffalo Grove. I actually, you know, I had nothing to do with the recruiting of Cindy Hebda, although I liked Cindy. She was a Vernon Hills trustee. She had a good record, and you know, and I always was very upfront and very open with Dan Chagru as to exactly what was going on, what HRO was doing. And I still have, you know, a good conversation. I had a conversation with Dan last night, congratulating him on his victory. You know, sometimes as, you know, when you're at a party, you know, there's loyalty issues, but if the role is to find the strongest candidate, sometimes you have to make hard decisions. And that's what HRO did. They said, you know, God bless you, Dan, you ran 2 years ago. We don't think you're going to be the strongest candidate against who the Democrats are likely to put up, and she is, in fact, you know, Senti is the one who won. So
HRO, House Republican Organization down in Springfield.
I hate acronyms.
Yeah. Nope.
Can I ask you a question as a guest?
Sure, go ahead.
This is vague, but isn't it the job of the chairman, and this is the both of you? I'm sorry, everybody knows me, I can't keep my mouth shut when I have a question. Isn't it the job of the chairman to go to the House Republican Organization and say, I know the community, I know Dan Chagru, he has name ID, this is the guy we want? Isn't it your job as the local chairman to make sure you have the guy you think can get to a primary and the person that you think can win that seat? Even though Tommy Cross is in Oswego, doesn't mean he knows what's happening in Buffalo Grove.
Well, it was actually, he had, Eddie Sullivan was working with him here, and the demographics really, I think a woman running against a woman was a better candidate.
That same seat 6 years ago, Bill Burns lost by 150 votes.
Roger Burns.
Roger Burns.
And that was, Roger Burns was the mayor of Vernon Hills, had a lot of name recognition, a totally different dynamic than an attorney running without the name recognition.
Again, for all of you, this is a district in Vernon Hills and Libertyville and that part of the county along Milwaukee Road. Now, is it Don? You have the question to Dan?
We have a different situation now, though, and really that one's sort of emblematic of something that's going on around the state. It's something that I would take, I believe, a stronger position on in my discussions with the House Republican Organization. Now, I can tell you that I sought to speak with them. They wouldn't return my phone calls. I guess they didn't feel that the local township chairman, who had a significant number of precincts that were in that district, that it really mattered. But this is, again, it's sort of emblematic of a situation where our state has increasingly become, our state party, I should say, a top-down organization. Rather than it being a grassroots organization where it's the voters, you know, we the people who really are in control of it, it's very clearly a close-knit group of individuals at the top that tend to make a lot of the decisions and push them down. And they've sort of circled the wagons, and they're preventing the grassroots from really expressing its wishes politically. While they're able to vote, certainly, they don't often get the choices when they do vote, because the slating of candidates has been controlled, from afar, essentially, rather than through a healthy process. And we see a lot of disdain for the primary process and efforts to sort of short-circuit it at times. That's not good for anyone, but that's been going on. And really, part of my effort is to restore the grassroots nature of our Republican Party, and to empower the committeemen, to empower the voters. That really should be the goal of a party, is to advance its principles, but to advance them among the voters and among the party itself. So building the organization and empowering the committeemen with additional tools, and I want to stress that these are additional tools, is very, very important. And certainly we try to train people. We've had mixed success with that. I'll give you an example. We recently had a training session for the committeemen in this county. I counted in the training room, I believe, a total of 43 people. Of that group, certainly about 8 or 9 of them were township chairmen like myself. Another 8 or 9 were from Vernon Township, where I'm at, which left only, for the remainder of the entire county, some 20-odd individuals. We're talking about a county that has 481 precincts, and really should have, a much more robust organization, one that is far more active than what we're seeing. And really, that's kind of the quandary that we're in. We need to build that organization. We need to get more people involved. We need to network at a much higher level than we have, and we need to do it in a fashion that meets the tight schedules that many people have today, and to do it in an efficient way. And that's what I'm about, really, is efficient communications. I don't want to cut off the one-on-one communications between people at all. I want to enhance them. But what it's going to take is a buy-in by a lot more people. We've seen a lot of people this year who have almost spontaneously, over the course of the last year, gotten involved in grassroots politics. You see these tea parties, the 9/12 events, very active people who've come literally out of the woodwork, housewives, people who, young people who've never been involved in politics in their whole life are suddenly out there in the street demonstrating, and it's very clear that they're motivated. But what I really fear is that these people are going to take that motivation, go out in the street and demonstrate, feel like they've accomplished something, and then go back home.
That begs the question, Don. What are you going to do about getting them into the organization?
Well, what I've been doing is I've been engaging those people. I've gone to those events. I've gone to their organizational meetings. I've talked with their leaders, and I've recruited them to run as precinct committeemen, and I've explained to them that they need to get involved in the political process, that I feel that the avenue for reforming our government in Illinois is to reform our Republican Party, is to build our Republican Party so that it's a much stronger grassroots organization, and to give them a channel so that they can take that energy and they can use it productively, not just at a few events a year, but on a regular basis, just like all the people who volunteer for our party.
You got any question for Dan now you'd like to ask him?
Not particularly.
Has it been the other way? If not, I'll give another question here for you.